Hello, hello. How you all doing today? Happy Friday. It is Friday, right? Happy Fun Day Friday. It's Friday, y'all. Did y'all have a good week? Did you have a good week? I had a busy week. Uh, it was quite busy. Quite busy. But you know what? I am here. I made it. And I have enjoyed you all. I've enjoyed this session every day. Hello, hello. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining, y'all. We are live on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube on the Teach Me Tribe. And for all of you all who may not know me, my name is Tiffany Newton. I'm a master certified health and life coach. And I have been in the mental health space for the past couple of years, and I have entered into the co parenting space. So that is where I am, and that is where the challenge, this 30-day challenge that I'm in, is all about. And it has been tremendous. I've been sharing my journey to co parenting and sharing what I believe that God has given me to give to you all as it relates to that, because I believe that He wants us all to succeed and prosper in every area of our lives. So, co parenting just so happens to be another area. So, so this week has been really good. We've been talking about communication and cracking the code to co parenting communication, which we've learned that just because we are divorced or we've broken up from our children's father or mother doesn't mean that we can't have a good, healthy relationship with them. And there's been so many different things that we've talked about this week in regards to cracking the code, and it was kind of hard to narrow down because I want to do a recap today. And this recap will not be a rendition of what was taught or what was talked about throughout this week, but just more so of a summary. So, if anything interests you in regards to anything that I talk about today that you did not get to to hear earlier this week, please go back and listen. You can go through my Facebook page, or hey Josh, or you can go to the YouTube, the Teach Me Tribe YouTube. All of the replays are there as well. So feel free to indulge in those lives. So as we've learned, the vault, because we're cracking the code to co-parenting communication. So the vault that we have been talking about is the first child method. And it's a comprehensive approach. Thank you so much for joining. It's a comprehensive approach to co parenting, and it emphasizes effective communication, collaboration, and prioritizing the well being of the child. And as we've learned, CHILD and Child First Method is an acronym. So it stands for communication, which we talked about this week. It involves the partnership and collaboration, honoring the other parent's role, involvement with the child, letting go of the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, and determining in everything to think about the child and what's best for them together. So, communication we learned should be open and respectful communication, because we're talking about healthy, healthy parents. That's what we're striving to be. And then we've also learned, even if one person isn't healthy, you know, that's something we can't control in our might, but we can be healthy. And as a result of us being healthy, it can change our perception. It can change our perception of what's going on around us. And I mean, I've experienced it myself. You know, you being in a healthy place, it helps the other parent to be in a healthy place. To it helps to bring out things in them that they didn't realize that they could actually. Hey Brian, thank you so much for joining, cuz it brings out things in them that they didn't realize that they could be, for their children and for everyone else involved. So just because one parent might not be healthy, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't continue to strive to be healthy as well. So communication, it is the cornerstone of the child first method, and we must communicate openly with about our child's needs and their schedules and important decisions that they have. And we found out that effective communication, it really builds trust with the other parent. It reduces misunderstandings and promotes a cooperative co-parenting relationship. And that's really what we're striving for. And remember, we are literally focusing on our child all the time. I mean, no matter what it is that we do, whether we are communicating with the co-parenting, our other co-parent, we are focusing on the child. We're focusing on our child, and we're prioritizing them. So that is everything that encompasses what I'm talking about. As it relates to the child first method, it is all about the child. So let's talk about everything that we talked about this week in a summary. We began this week talking about effective communication. And I tell you, I have never heard of such a great definition for effective communication. And that has become our working definition for this week. And it is the process of exchanging ideas, thoughts, opinions, knowledge, and data so that the message is received and understood with clarity and purpose. When we communicate effectively, both parties feel satisfied. Yes, both parents feel satisfied. So we have to, thank you, Brian. We definitely have to effectively communicate. And one thing I mentioned this week, this was an area that I struggled with, that I really had to get better in post divorce. So just because, um, you know, the things that we are deficient in our marriage, it doesn't mean we don't have to work on them, because those problems are still going to exist. We're still going to have those same problems. And in order for us to be better parents, be better people, to be the best versions of ourselves, we have to get better. We have to grow. We have to evolve. And communication is definitely one of those areas that we all have to constantly evolve in and grow in. So we talked about, improving communication. We talked about regular check-ins with the co-parent. We have scheduled check-ins, and it will look differently for everybody. So it might look like a weekly check-in. It might look like a monthly check-in, but we're going to discuss school. We're going to discuss how our child is doing. What are you seeing at your house? What am I seeing at our house? How can we work together to make sure, especially if it's something that they're dealing with? Because, as kids get older, they evolve, they grow, they go through puberty, they go through teenage, it's all kinds of things kids go through. And it's so important for us to continue to communicate about those things, because we want our child, it's all about our child. It's all about the emotional well-being of our child. We want to talk about activities. If they're in extracurricular activities, how can we work together? Just because the when my boys are with me, a certain period of time, I will call their dad if because we're in partnership. I will call him if he doesn't have them. If I have them, I'm like, you know what, I got this going on. Or if I'm not feeling good or anything, I will call him and say, hey, do you mind taking, our boys, one of them, whoever it is, to practice today? You know, do you mind taking them to class today? Or I will offer to him, hey, I know you have a busy schedule going on because we communicate about our schedules. Hey, if you need me to, take them, let me know. It's all about partnership. It's all about the child. It has nothing to do with who that person is or was to you. It's all about who they are now to your child. And for the most part, everybody wants to be there for their child. Okay, so the regular check ins. So that was really the main thing that we talked about earlier this week in regards to effective communication, how that can actually be displayed. Secondly, we talked about the importance of active listening. So when we're communicating, we have to actively listen to each other. And we found out what that looked like. That was being fully present, not looking off, playing on our phones while the other person is talking, especially when we have those regular check-ins, because we want people to know, we hear them, and then we want them to listen to us too. Maintaining eye contact, avoid interrupting. These are just the basis of things that we're supposed to be doing when we have communication with someone, but sometimes it's a little bit harder when we have had a certain type of relationship with someone that we're I was going to say forced to work with, but yeah, we are. We're forced to work with them because they did not go away. Our children are still there, so we need to work with them if we want the best interests of our child. We want our child to be healthy and whole. You know, have valid emotions. I talked about checking our emotions at the door and dealing in facts. And this is business. This is our child's business. Avoid judgment and defensiveness. you know, we have to separate. I can't say this enough, but we have to separate the parent from the person that used to be to us, from our ex. So just because they're our ex, that doesn't mean they're the ex parent. They're still the parent. So next we talked about conflict resolution. And that was something else because we know it's going to happen. It's inevitable in any relationship, especially a relationship that used to be so close. Especially if we have unresolved issues within ourselves and things that might trigger us. It happens, but we have to choose the right time and place for conflict. And then it also helps when we have that self-awareness, when we know, okay, if he does this, if she does this, or if she don't do this or don't do that, I know I'm going to be triggered. I know I'm going to have something to say about that. So we have to, have the right time and place to talk about certain things, and always focusing on the best interest of the child. Sometimes we have to separate, okay, is this something that I'm feeling about myself, does this really have something to do with our child? I've had to do that, because sometimes things that bother me about my ex ain't got nothing to do with our child, our children at all. It's just personal, so we have to separate those things as it relates to um, conflict and knowing the best interest, having the best interest of our child when we're addressing conflict. Avoid blame and accusations. You know, you know, the blame game. We have to, heed to statements, the I statements, letting them know. That's how you can separate, what is it that's really going on that I need to address for my child versus how it is that I'm feeling, just me feeling a certain way. So, say, I am worried about our child when, or, just keep everything focused on the child. And it just makes it so much easier, to deal with things. And then also we talked about putting agreements in writing. I thought that was something that we should really do. I know we typically have a divorce decree, a divorce arrangement or custody arrangements and things of that nature. But we also talked about, the difference in having someone outside of your home involved in your family versus you taking control over what's going to happen with your family. You know, yes, you are divorced. Yes, you're no longer together, but those are still your children. So we shouldn't necessarily allow the government, the state, city, whomever, even other people to tell us how we need to parent. That should be between us. But that's neither here nor there because I know everybody's situation is different. But we are also talking about being healthy with one another and being able to communicate effectively about these things. So when we're able to do that, we can put those things in writing and it makes us more intentional and more accountable. And it provides clarity for everything that we've talked about. Um, and also acknowledging the small wins. We have to remain positive about the outcomes that we get with our co-parent. Um, and even acknowledging the small wins that we have with our kids as it relates to them. When we can celebrate together, whether our child, got the AB honor roll. Because a lot of times one parent will find out, because a lot of times the report card will come to my house first. And then a lot of times I'll see, I'm a helicopter mom. I like to see stuff. So I'm always gonna know what's going on with the kids. So most of the time I find out about a lot of things about the boys before their dad does. So, I'll send them a text and say, hey, guess what? So and so did this, that, and the other, and then he'll call and if they're with me, or he'll congratulate them when they're there. So it's all about partnership. It's all about communication, and the intent is being intentional about it. Okay, the last thing we talked about was partnership. One team, one family. We talked about that yesterday, and to me, this one was huge. This really put cracking the code of co-parenting communication together. I mean, when you really get the mindset, really change your perception of what a co-parenting family should be. One team, one family. Even though we may live in separate places, we still have the same children. We still have the same child. We could still be on the same team because our team is whoever our child's name is. Even when we go to parenting meetings and I'm talking to teachers, that's what I tell them because we are a village. We are a village. And in order for us to be a village, we all have to be on the same team. In order for us to be an effective village, we have to be on the same team, having the same goal. So we are team, whoever your child name is, that's who we are. And we're still family, even though we're not in the same household. So, establishing those open communication channels, whatever it is that looks like for your family, because it is going to be different for each family because everybody's family dynamic is completely different. We're going to create a co-parenting plan together. I talked a little bit about that, a little earlier, and how we have to have those agreements in writing. That's all a part of the parenting plan, and then just being clear and free flexible to regularly evaluate the parenting plan as the children are growing and they're evolving and maturing. We have to be flexible, because, and let me give you an example. Um, Me and my boy's father, we communicate pretty well with this because we both have pretty busy schedule, pretty busy lives, even with the children. But we communicate with each other in regards to our time. Hey, um, I'll call him up. I say, hey, I got to go out of town on business this week. Do you mind keeping the boys a little bit longer? Or do you mind if we adjust the schedule a little bit? Just because the government told you that it has to be every other week, does it really have to be every other week? Or is that what you want? That's a question to ask yourself. Would you want that? I heard something today I thought was very interesting. And just like I said, I know everybody's different, but I know that, you know, certain things are laid out for us just because it is. And I know, mothers have a particular role that they're normally very hands-on with their kids. I know they know about the doctor's appointments and um, everything with the school, the schedules. I understand that, and someone said, well, why should a father have custody of a child or even partial custody of a child when they don't know what's going on with the child? They don't know anything about doctor's appointments. They don't know anything about what's going on at the school or anything like that. I understand. But don't you think that that father should have the opportunity to know? Because he has to know when they're there. Or you can communicate that to him until he gets up to speed. I don't know. That's just me. I might just be different when it comes to that, but I believe that any father who wants to be there will do what it takes to be there and to learn what he needs to learn, you know. And when we're in a marriage, it's just certain roles that we're used to doing anyway. So, I mean, he didn't have to do that. He didn't have to know that because you did. So now you're going to hold it against him because that's something that was a role that you fulfilled. Just like I can't hold certain things from him because he used to do that because I don't know how to do it. I don't know. Okay, I digress. I can get on my soapbox about something because I'm pro family, and I'm also pro the child. So anything I feel that will separate the child from the mother or the father, I'm just completely against it, especially when the parent wants to be there. So anyway, um, and we also talked about setting boundaries, with extended family. We have to set clear boundaries because extended family might not always understand or agree with how you decide to to co-parent together, because they might not feel that that person deserves it to have access to their kids. And I'm not talking about I'm talking about healthy parents. I'm talking about parents who want to be there, who won't hurt their kids. I'm not talking about the other extremes. I'm talking about just because, yes, that relationship didn't work out with you all, and maybe that person cheated, did something against you, and the family is upset. I understand. I do. But that doesn't mean that person's a bad father or a bad mother. Just because they weren't a good husband or a good wife, that doesn't mean they're a bad father or a bad mother. Okay. And we do have to set those clear boundaries with extended family because they're not going to always agree, but we have to keep the children first. So, the partnership mindset between co-parents, it really goes beyond the basis of co-parents. It involves us actively working together to create a supportive and harmonious environment for our child. And we have to be proactive, and we have to have effective communication and shared commitment to our child's well-being. So that is it for our summary. And I know I kind of went into a few other things along the way, but it was so good this week in regards to communication. And we'll move on further in with the vault um, in regards to our child first method. But tomorrow I really want to answer any questions that might have come up throughout the time, because I'm almost halfway done with my challenge. So I want to give you all opportunity to ask me some questions. Um, and I'm going to put a question form in the comments where you can go to that form and you can submit your questions there. And then you can also email teachmetribe@gmail.com if you want to ask me any questions. And I will answer those questions tomorrow at 5 on the live Central Standard Time. Hey, Will, thank you for joining. And I will also answer those questions on Sunday. So if you want to ask any questions, feel free to submit those in that way. And just like I said, I will put those in the comments. I'll put the email address if you want to do it through there, or I will also put the form in there as well. And that way you can ask your questions. So I have truly enjoyed today. I thank you all so much for joining. And if you do not follow me, I'm on Instagram at I am Tiffany D. Newton. I'm also on Facebook at Tiffany D. Newton. And join our tribe. It's the Teach Me Tribe. It has truly been phenomenal. I think we're in month 5 and we have over 200 members, and it's been really going well. And then also follow the Teach Me Tribe on YouTube at Teach Me Tribe. Everything, all the lives that I have throughout the challenge, I have been putting them there, as well as other things that we have regularly with the tribe. They're there as well. So I look forward to seeing you all. Thank you for joining, Will. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. And until then, I will see you